All right, Junkie Nation, he's back. Christian Lee, the one championship lightweight champion. He defended his title a few months ago against Timothy Nasfukin. I hope I got that right. I have to call him Tim Nasty, but I was going to actually give it the proper attempt, and I blew it. But it was a quick work, as always, for the champ. It's his second title defense, both ending in the first round. Welcome back, Christian Lee. Good to have you.
Thanks, man. It's good to have you. Appreciate you guys having me on the show.
Thank you. Thank you for the time. It's spectacular the way you've been winning fights. Honestly, it has been. But do you still have kind of a satisfaction of, I guess, you know, like what I'm saying is you do a lot in these training camps, but the fights are like minuscule compared to all the hard work you put in. Do you feel like there's an equal like release, I guess, to all the hard work and the weight cut and like staying away from friends and family?
You know, I do feel like it's a good balance. You know, I put in so much work here in the gym, and I trained so hard for so long that I feel that that's the reason why my fights are ending so quickly and in such, you know, spectacular fashion, because I'm putting in the work here. Every fight camp is, 8 to 10 weeks of hard training, strict dieting, and I'm doing everything I can to make sure that when I get into that ring on fight night, there's no one that's going to get past me. I'm going to be ready for anything. So I really give all the credit to the training I'm putting in here at the gym, to the reason why my fights are ending so quickly. And thankfully I got a great setup here in Hawaii. I got my wife and my baby here with me right now at my training sessions, and everything's going great. Just staying in shape, and I'm looking forward to getting in there again soon.
Well, we'll definitely get to your baby girl in just a second. Congratulations again, you and your wife. I remember the last time we were talking to you, you guys were expecting, but I do want to follow up on what you said. That's brilliant. It's a brilliant answer, honestly. All that hard work is what's making the result. So I guess the sacrifice is satisfying, is what you're trying to tell me.
Absolutely.
Because the flip side would be, 25 minutes spilled blood and guts and maybe some brain cells, and of course fans love that too. But you're the one it's your brain. You know what I mean? It's your blood.
Yeah, with Timothy, I knew how tough he was, and actually, my whole camp I was preparing for a 5-round war. I knew he was going to bring the fight to me, and there was two sides of how this fight was going to go. One way was the 5-round war that we slugged it out from bell to bell, and the second way was a quick first round finish. And I'm thankful that the fight went the way I planned, and I was able to get that first round finish. But absolutely, I was ready to go in there 5 rounds.
So now you posted on Instagram, in addition to the beautiful pics of your baby, who's next? And I looked at the list, and you've already beaten 3 of them. So we're left with OK. And then, of course, Eddie Alvarez seems to be haunting you a little bit. I noticed you guys have traded some barbs on social media. What has the organization said to you in regards of what they may be thinking? Because they are the third party when you guys promote a prize fight. The 2 opponents, the champion has a lot of weight, obviously, but the promotion also dictates.
Mm-hmm. Well, the situation with my division right now is, there's, in my eyes, there's only one real contender who could be worthy of a title shot, and that's Okre Yoon, because he beat Murat Gafurov, who was number 5 at the time, took his spot there, and then from there he went on to get a decision win over Eddie Alvarez. So definitely he'd be up there. The only guy I can really see who would be a little bit deserving of the shot. But in terms of Eddie, it's a fight that the company really wanted. They want to see the one champion go in there and face the former UFC champion to beat him. I think Eddie's a great opponent, but really he's on a 3-fight losing streak. Aside from his win over Edward Foliang, he hasn't won at all in the promotion. I know they overturned his fight with Yuri to a no contest because of, he was making a big deal out of it. Um, and then he went and got decision loss over Okoye. So as much as everyone wants that fight to happen, it's just not going to happen anytime soon because Eddie hasn't done anything to prove that he's earned his way up to the top. So in terms of where the company's at, I think that they want that fight to happen, but it just doesn't make sense right now. So if he can do his job and win a few more fights over ranked opponents, then sure, I'm all for it. But for now, I think he's just kind of running his mouth on social media because he really wants that fight. He's he's in a race against time. He's getting older every day, and he's on a losing streak. So he's hoping to just be able to do a few call outs and to get his way there. But I think it'll take a bit more time.
Christian, man, you're the most professional dude. I really envy your level of maturity at your age because at your age, me and this guy were a mess. But along the lines of those questions, I know a lot of people bring up that name, Eddie Alvarez, to you, and you always have very respectful answers. But I'm just curious, does it bother you that the name gets brought up? Because you're right, there's probably someone ahead of him, and you guys are going in relatively different directions. Does it bother you to answer those questions, or are you okay talking about Eddie Alvarez?
Yeah, for me, I don't mind. I'm here doing my job, and when people ask about Eddie Alvarez, I feel it's because they truly want to know. Like they want to know if he's going to get that shot because the whole reason he joined One Championship was to eventually fight for the belt. They wanted to see if a former UFC champion could claim the One FC gold. So I understand why everyone's asking the questions. But if you just look at his record in One Championship so far, he's done nothing to earn his way there. So that's why I have the same answer every time. I'm all for that fight if he can earn his way there. But as of right now, he hasn't done anything to prove that.
That's why I'm going to ask the question a little differently. I understand that there's people ahead of him and all that, but you personally, what would mean more to you, beating a former UFC champion, a former Bellator champion, or beating the number one contender? And if we take away all the politics, I'm just saying deep down inside, kind of like the MMA soul, which one does mean more to you?
That's kind of a tough question for me because I always try to do the right thing, and I think the right thing is to fight the guy who's earned his way there. But the exciting thing about signing a former champion like Eddie is when you beat a guy like that, in a way you can take all of his accomplishments with him. So if I beat him faster, better than anyone else has ever beaten him, then I think that speaks to the level that I'm at. And absolutely, I believe that I can go in there with UFC champion, Bellator champion, whoever it may be in my division, and finish them. So that would just mean I'm one step closer to getting those fights where I can prove myself, on a global stage, not just in One Championship, but across the globe, that I'm the best lightweight fighter in the world. And so that's a goal of mine, is to eventually prove that. And Eddie would just mean one step closer to that. But if the fans want it, if the company wants it, I've never turned down a fight. I'll still take that fight in a heartbeat. But logistically speaking, it just you can't give a guy a title fight on a losing streak. That's just not how it works in this game. But going back to your question, it would be a great fight for me. I would definitely enjoy taking that match.
Christian, we've been covering not just yourself but your family for a while now, and as George mentioned, there are new members of the Lee family, and you guys are just so connected with mixed martial arts. I often think of the Gracies and the way they've kind of lived their life, and combat sports have been a part of that. When you look at your family and you think about legacy and you hear a name like the Gracies and all that, how important is the family legacy versus individually what you guys do amongst yourselves?
I think one thing that's made my family so successful is the fact that we're not focused on creating a legacy for our family. Each of us are on our own journeys, and I think we recognize that. So we're all in here just trying to help each other get better and to do the best that we can do individually. And the fact that we're a family, our individual success is what makes it so special. The fact that we're all related and we're all blood. But in terms of making a legacy for the Lee name, that's not really a goal of ours. It just so happened that my sister was the first ever female champion in one championship, the longest reigning champ, and I'm also a champion in the lightweight division. So, and now I got my little sister as well, my little brother soon to follow. So we're just putting in work, doing what we love, but it's not about. I don't think it's about legacy for us. It's just our hard work paying off, and the results that we put in the cage is kind of what's bringing so much attention to our family right now.
Who's the toughest of the Lee family? But let me phrase the question like this: if your dad would put you guys through some circuit training, maybe some of it's on the beach and some of it's on the gym with a little scoring system, who would be the last one to break?
Oh man, in terms of like the competitive aspect, my Angela is definitely the most competitive. She'd find a way to win, pregnant or not. After giving birth, she'll get in there, and she won't give up.
That's a nice shout out to your sister. Hey, listen, I asked you this question a while back, but we got to refresh it now. And I don't know if you'll remember it, but I said, hey, wouldn't it be awesome to have Khabib, who was the UFC champ at the time, yourself, Natan Schultz, the PFL champ, and Patricio Freire, the Bellator lightweight champ, in a little tournament. And I think at the end you said your prediction would be you and Khabib in the final. Well, Khabib has now re-solidified the retirement that he had laid out in October. So he's gone. The UFC now has a new champion, Charles Oliveira. And Natan Schultz he's got his back to the wall. He may not even make it to the playoffs of this year's PFL. I don't know if you're following that. And then Patricio Freire, he's been busy with featherweight division. So to be fair, he hasn't competed at 55. But those are the four there. Where do you feel you stack up now, Christian, against all the other lightweight champions in the major organizations like yourself?
Well, respectfully speaking, I feel that I'm better than all of them. I feel that I'm the best lightweight fighter in the world. And, like I've said before, I'm more than happy to get in there and prove it against anybody. So I would love for them to do a tournament between those four organizations. And, I'll bet my whole earnings that I'm going to come up on top. I feel confident in my training, in all the hard work I put in. And I would love for them to do a cross-promotion event like that. But we'll see if that ever happens, but I would definitely be all for it.
Wow, he's putting his money where his fist is. I like it. Who would you see in the finals? We haven't drawn the names yet, but who do you think would or maybe who would you like to meet in the finals?
I think it would be me and Oliveira in the finals. Taking nothing away from Patricio and the PFL champ, but I just think the styles would line up, and it would be me and him in the finals.
Right on. All right, I'll probably keep asking you that question as long as you keep defending, because it's an interesting one to me. I grew up in an era where we did see Chuck Liddell go from the UFC to compete in Pride. I've seen Strikeforce and Dream fighters, Strikeforce and Bellator and Rising. So in the history of the sport, it has happened. Right now, I'm not so sure, but it's still fun to talk about. Let's close with this. You have a new baby girl. I guess she came right after your fight. Tell me about your emotions and how you feel in terms of as a man who now is probably fighting for a different cause.
Absolutely. My daughter, she was born on May 1st. Thankfully, I was praying my last fight that I came home from Singapore before she was ready to come out. And, thankfully she waited. So I was back home when my wife went into labor. And since my baby's been born, it's been the best thing ever. Been able to spend so much time with her at home, thanks to, how my last fight went. Been able to really just take some time off to spend with her. And, even now that we're back to training, my daughter Aaliyah and my wife Katie, they're coming into the gym with me every day. So I'm here on the mats working, and I get to see them here right next to me. and it's really a great thing. So I'm so thankful that I'm able to keep my family close to me, and it just having her here in this world has really changed everything. Before, when I first started fighting, I was fighting for myself. I wanted to be a champion. I wanted to I had all these goals and aspirations, and since I've reached that, I've won the lightweight belt. I've defended it. Now I'm just fighting for something bigger. I'm fighting for my daughter, for my family, and to make a good living for my family and to leave a legacy for them. So absolutely, my daughter's inspired me to work harder than ever, and I'm so grateful that she's here.
Let's not forget, you also won the Grand Prix. You've had a huge couple of years, my friend.
Thank you.
All right. I don't know how you're going to answer this question, because normally fighters go, no, I don't want my kids to be involved in this sport. But your family's so entrenched, and you're already telling me that baby Aaliyah is making an appearance at your gym. What do you think? Do you think you want your kids to follow in the footsteps of your siblings and do the same thing like what your dad did for you guys, or are you already thinking maybe not?
Well, the thing is, my wife and I, we were running United MMA here in Hawaii, and so the fact that we're here every day, I definitely want my daughter to grow up and learn how to defend herself. I think that it's a very important skill set to have. But in terms of what she does for a living, I don't want to have any influence in that. I want to see what she enjoys doing in life, what she excels at, and I want her to follow whatever it is that she chooses to do. So I definitely don't want her to be a fighter. I want her to just, make her own path and find out what she's good at, what she loves to do, and to follow that. And I'll support her in every step. But no, it's not going to be one of those situations where I'm grooming her, forcing her to grow up and follow in my footsteps.
Well, I'll tell you what, I plan on being in the sport for another 20 years at least. And if your daughter does what your sister Victoria does and makes her debut at 16, who knows? I may be interviewing you as her coach for her debut.
Yeah, hopefully not. I don't want to see my baby in there.
It's different now, huh? It's different now that it's your kid. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, listen, thank you so much for the time. Congrats on your win. But more importantly, congrats on the run that you've been on. Because seriously, that question that we talked about, when it got passed around social media a little bit, there was anything from, I think Christian Lee would do well, to Habib rules overall, to who's Christian Lee. But man, you had some October and April back to back, and April was big for one championship. And after what you did, that Trail of Destruction, I bet you there's a lot of people that may have you coming out of that fearsome foursome that we talked about. So that's just a testament to your hard work. So congrats on that.
Thank you. I appreciate it.